Sunday, everybody. Figured I'd come on here and make a little update video since I can't see anything in my feed that is very actionable with clear invalidations. As a trader, I like to have my invalidations, and a lot of people don't seem to know what's going on or what to expect, or more importantly, what to do in the event of price action reaching certain levels. And so I'm here to try to give you an update. On Twitter, I did see Peter Brandt had a sell set up, looking at this wave right here as like an ABC, which certainly is valid. And I have here plotted here on the 4-hour chart the way that I would look at that as a sell setup. Clear invalidation at the 1618 is 62,527, and it is in the area where you would look to sell it, but after it makes it past the 1272, it looks a little stronger, so I'm not too keen to sell it. But if it starts rejecting right here, then that becomes your stop loss, and you can definitely take that and potentially have a nice move down, which would be repeating this leg here down into 56, 57, 55, or 45 territory, 47 territory, something like that. That would clear out some liquidity down there. It would revisit the wick from the ETF launch, which is around 59. So maybe something like that. It's on the table with a clear invalidation at the 1618 for me. I'm not inclined to think that's going to happen, but I'm also not going to dictate which direction the market goes. I'm just going to invalidate the trade setups and protect my capital. So a good way to know that you're trading in the right direction is when you get your trade setups going in the opposite direction invalidated. So I did have a buy setup that I took down here at 56,000 that I had in my video update, taking it from an idea that the correction is complete, and we had this 3-leg move here, 3-leg move here, chop chop, and a chop chop, and now we're slowly grinding up. So I'm trying to match that leg with that, coming up here and taking these liquidities here. After those liquidities are taken, you would expect for the market to kind of sharply move down to take all those orders, flush them down to previous support. So that could be a re-entry or an add, depending on if you're bullish or bearish. Like I said, it invalidates a sell setup, so look to buy, especially if you get some daily or even weekly closures above here. So if you're working on closures, you'd have a supply line break, you'd have a higher high close than that, look to buy the higher low for resumption of the uptrend. We'd be targeting this liquidity initially, and then potentially have more buy setups if the market decides it wants to go up. We are in the timing window for a cycle low, a weekly and a daily cycle low, to be right here. So we'll see what the market can give, but we got to start invalidating some sell setups. That would be great. If the market does move up, give a higher high close, and we get a buy setup at previous support, the target would be this leg, like all the way up. I think the target being initially 90,000 to 93,000, and then I would suspect that it would continue to push for a little bit, but we'll have to find that in real time and kind of update as time goes on. A lot of influencers out there are just giving levels to break, levels to close above, to let you know a market structure has broken. Some people are saying if you make it above 65, something like that, then that's what we want to see for a bullish market structure or whatever. That could easily close up there and just come right back down here. Some are saying that we need to close above all-time high and hold above. And what does that look like, holding above, and how do you trade that? Like, you need an invalidation. If you get up here, your invalidation is here. What are you going to buy right there? The market's likely going to flush down and put you underwater for a bit, so you need to have your risk so that entire move where your stop loss would be, where you're risking only 1% of your capital, 1 to 2%, doesn't leave for a very large position size. So you want to try to get in to a trade setup with a very tight invalidation, then your position size can be larger, which is why I'm kind of watching for a higher high close and then a higher low, which might be just a retest of this supply line somehow. It might whip up and whip right back down, shake people out pretty good, and then bounce back up and then continue up. But yeah, it gets pretty aggravating, I'm sure, for a lot of newer market participants when they hear influencers saying above this level I'm bullish, below that level I'm bearish, when there's nothing actionable they're actually giving you. Like, yeah, price closes up there, it looks good, great. So what do? Do I buy right there? That could be the play. If you know how to look for a trade setup and a clear invalidation, then you know how to seek opportunity. And that's kind of what I'm all about, is where are the opportunities in the chart? And the opportunities come with liquidity. There's liquidity here. We're building some liquidity down here. We'll see if that gets tagged. But the real opportunity would potentially be, if it wants to hold, is previous supports. Here we had a swing failure. That might be your actual previous support you want to look at. But it might be these. But you need a clear invalidation. If price does pop up and pop back down, you need your invalidation in order to trade that appropriately. If you're buying spot, I don't think you're in the wrong position here to be dollar cost averaging, if that's what you want to do. And the market may give you opportunities to continue to dollar cost average. Another thing that I would potentially see happening is drawing a box right here. And you would have price action bouncing in and out of here before a spring down, and this becomes a reaccumulation, pop up, and go. So then how do you trade that? How do you know that's what's happening? Or how? You don't actually know, you have evidence to suggest that happens. So the way I would see that is a pop up here to previous resistance, pop all the way back down to support, and then a bounce back up to resistance. And if we're dancing in there, I would expect this liquidity to be taken and then this liquidity to be taken. So it would be like a spring, and there's your buy setup right there where you got the previous supports targeting this liquidity. So then you would buy here, stop loss goes down there. If this moves up, raise your stop loss to break even. And price, if it wants to be bullish, will hold above those previous resistances. You'd have a support resistance flip, and you'd have a back test right here before going up. So that would be an accumulation range at the bottom of the range on the lower time frame, making this entire structure a reaccumulation before additional markup phase. We'll see if the market gives that. We really don't know, but all we can do is control how much risk we're willing to put on, the amount of capital we're willing to risk for a trade setup idea, if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then ask away. Ask all the questions you can. That's part of the learning process. Years ago, when I was learning this, I asked so many questions, not only to mentors but to myself, and I'd research it and I'd learn. That's the best way to learn in real time, is what's happening on the chart and what can we learn from it. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully I've given some actionable information here. Share the video with other people that you might be wanting to learn what's going on and how to trade markets, and how to invalidate their trade setups, how to look for trade setups and opportunities. So, have a good day.